I was wondering, Kelly, if you could say a little bit about what the autistic strengths have brought for you over the years. How you've noticed that in the workplace, in personal life.
I think in the workplace, it's my tenacity, my focus. I can really focus and hone in on tasks. Um, if my managers have an understanding of what my strengths are, they will work towards those as well. So they will give me tasks that they know I can get through very quickly and very adeptly. So anything with a degree of analysis, analysing, synthesising material, bringing it together, writing reports, they will ask me to complete that sort of task, and I enjoy it. I absolutely love it. I think reflecting back now, I think my autism has made me very focused and career and goal oriented. So I did a lot of my qualifications whilst bringing up my family. I was quite young when I had my daughter. So as I got older, my career goals changed. So I was running a home, working full time. I did an undergrad degree in criminology and sociology. Absolutely loved it. And then went straight onto a master's in forensic psychology. So I did that all while I was working full time, and with obviously with the kids. And it was very important for me to be a role model. You can do this. If you put your mind to it, you can do anything. So I think that's been really helpful. To just have that focus. So I think that's the strength.
Mm-hmm.
I try not to go on a deficit base. I like to think of my strengths and work and play to my strengths rather than thinking, oh, I find this really difficult. And I think if anybody was sort of asking about autism, that would be, for me, is to focus on your strengths and not think about what you struggle with.
Yeah.
That's not to minimise people's struggles at all. And things, it is difficult, but let's think about what are the positives.
Yeah. And kind of create an environment for yourself that really draws on those.
Absolutely. Yes.
Finding the right workplace, the right team around you that
absolutely
can recognise your strengths.
Yeah, absolutely. And finding the strength within that team. Again, as I said, I might find certain things quite difficult, but other things, and I enjoy helping people. So if I can see someone struggles with something, I will say, oh, let me help you. And I really enjoy that side-by-side learning and showing people and sharing my, experience.
Yeah. And then thinking back to 2022 when you came for your assessment, what things kind of triggered that where you thought, actually, now is the right time, I'm going to look into this?
So, again, I always had this feeling of othering, of being different, not quite fitting in, being a little bit quirky, a little bit different. But it was actually my daughter that recognised some of the major traits, as you would say. She was working in a community mental health team, and actually a lot of her colleagues were autistic women. And I think she drew the parallels there. She saw some of the traits in me. I think she was a little bit reluctant at first to say, but when she said it, when she talked to me about, oh, do you think, tentatively, she was very tentative with me, do you think this could be you, Mum? And I was like, do you know what? Yes, I think you're right. And as soon as she suggested it, and I started to research into how autism presents specifically in women, I had to get that assessment booked. That was it. That was my focus. I really wanted to know because I thought, well, yes, this feels like things are fitting into place.
Do you remember what the things were that your daughter said then or noticed?
I think it was how I focus. I've got a really strong focus, and it's almost like I dissociate. Like I'm in a little world of my own, and I'm focusing and hyper focusing on things. And I think at first she thought I wasn't really, not that I wasn't interested in what she was saying, what she was doing, but I was highly distractible and focusing on something. And as I say, when she'd start talking to me, it would take a long time for me to sort of acknowledge and recognise she was talking. So I think she recognised that in me. Again, I can often be socially inappropriate or awkward, the awkwardness. So she recognised that. I think I'd visited her house and her house share mate was eating something, and I got quite close and I looked over and I said, "Oh, what have you got there? That looks really nice." And she must have noticed that he felt a bit like, "Whoa, she's getting really close," and leaning over the breakfast bar. So she could see these little nuances in my behaviour that were just me, that I didn't notice, let's say. So I think maybe she was observing these and kind of comparing with her colleagues and almost sort of thinking, yeah, that might be what is different with mum. I've always had a lot of empathy, and that's one thing I do want to debunk, is that autistic people don't have empathy. I have a lot of empathy. So that's never been an issue. Perhaps too much empathy, which has, made me increase my vulnerabilities. But yeah, I think that's what it was. And as soon as she made those suggestions and drew those parallels, that was it. I wanted to go forward with the assessment. I needed that journey of self-discovery. I needed to know, is this what I am? Is this me?
And what would you have any advice for somebody in a similar position, a woman of your age, where they're thinking about the possibility of autism for themselves?
Absolutely. I think if you don't want to go down that road and you're happy with yourself as you are, be you. But by the same token, if it leads you to wonder, if you're curious, I would definitely go for an assessment. I've spoken to quite a few women now who have an autism diagnosis, and a lot of them, especially if they're a little bit younger than me, have been diagnosed with a mental health condition. So they might have been diagnosed, let's say, with bipolar disorder, and actually it was a complete misdiagnosis and they were autistic. So I would say that because of that lack of or limited understanding of women's presentation of autism, go and find a specialist, go and find a psychologist who understands autism in women. That would be my one piece of advice, is that the diagnostic criteria, it sort of marries together with the typical tools for boys. Yes. So the diagnostic tools were all developed on boys and young men. That's not going to work for a woman and how we present. And society expects women to operate in a certain way, which is why I believe that we mask so heavily. So those are societal sort of expectations of women. So I think that we are higher masking than boys and men. So I think if you are wondering and you're curious, definitely go and seek out an assessment.
Thanks, Kelly. That's been really good and so insightful speaking to you today.
Thank you.